and welcome to the news updates on AFRICUNIA television, reaching from our studio here in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. And I am Deborah, Ezeh. Looking into the African scene today, we begin from Nigeria, where President Muhammad Buhari on Monday commiserated with the families of victims of the recent explosion in Kano and expressed his condolences and that of the nation, describing the incident as sad and unfortunate. In a brief address, the president said he was extremely pained by the loss of lives and injury to many due to the explosion, adding that many of my thoughts and that of the nation are with the bereaved families. I hope the injured will recover fully at the earliest possible time. President Buhari drew parallels between Kano and his native Daura and described the palace of the emir as his home. He commended the traditional institution and the people of Kano for standing with him at all times. In his speech, the emir thanked the president for the condolences and commended him for providing a fair and just leadership. He conveyed Kano community appreciation for the numerous things the federal government is doing in the state and prayed for the emergence of good leaders in the coming elections. On his part, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje announced cash support in various sums for the families of the deceased, the injured, and others whose property were partly damaged or destroyed. Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has charged the military and security agencies to ensure a secure and prosperous Nigeria as the nation prepares for the general election in 2023. Speaking in Kano at a ceremonial parade to commemorate the 58th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force, the president asked the security agencies to remain committed, steadfast and resolute as government forges ahead to achieving a secure, peaceful and more prosperous Nigeria. While praising the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the service chiefs as well as the leadership of the security agency for doing their jobs well, President Buhari particularly lauded the Chief of the Air Staff Officers, airmen, airwomen and civilian staff of the Air Force for the good work they are doing to support government defense and security policies, as well as high level of discipline, loyalty to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and support of democratic value. The president also had kind words for the Nigerian Air Force for living up to its constitutional responsibilities of securing the nation and in the process justifying the investment of the government of the day in the force. Still in Nigeria, the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operator of Nigeria has described the recent move by the federal government to add a 1 kobo per second tax on phone calls as a bad move. According to it, this is insensitive considering the operating environment of telecom companies. The federal government is proposing a 1 kobo per second tax on phone calls in the nation to fund free healthcare for the vulnerable group in Nigeria. This was disclosed in the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2021 signed by the President Muhammad Buhari recently. This translates to a 9% tax on GSM calls if implemented. Outing added that the new tax will reduce the value subscribers get from the telecom services as they would need to pay more to enjoy what they used to. The association stated it will affect the subscribers because they get less value for what they pay for. It said the government should consider taxing another industry rather than the telecoms. Now, in the Republic of Ghana, the central bank has raised its main interest rate by 200 basis points to 19% to control inflationary pressure and promote macroeconomic stability, Ernest Addison, governor of the central bank, announced on Monday. Experts had predicted that the BOG was going to increase the policy rate following an increase in the past 2 months. In March, the Bank of Ghana raised its policy rate by 250 basis points to 17%, the largest hike in its history. Subsequently, in April, the consumer inflation rate in gold, oil and cocoa producer hit an 18-year high of 23.6%. Capital outflow have entirely offset a 1.3 billion trade surplus gained from a 61% jump in crude oil export revenues in the first quarter. Addison said that they had created an overall balance of $934.5 million in the first quarter, compared with $429.9 million in the same period last year. Still on the African scene, amid growing discontent over the current economic situation and the rising cost of living, Uganda President Yoweri Museveni said his government will not intervene to ease the burden on the nation. In a televised national address, Museveni said that government subsidies or removal of import taxes would collapse the economy. The cost of food and imported raw materials have been rising in recent months due to the surging price of petroleum products. The problem has been exacerbated by global supply chain constraints following the war in Ukraine. He advised citizens to substitute expensive wheat with locally available food such as millet, maize, green bananas, and cassava. But even the prices of these items has been rising due to transportation costs. Ugandans are having to buy smaller quantities of basic items or give up using their cars to cope with the crisis. Now on to the foreign scene. Flash floods and landslide in Indian northeast Assam state killed at least 25 people and displaced over 650,000 from their homes in the past 10 days. Heavy monsoons are a yearly occurrence in Assam, resulting in flooding and landslide which forced residents to flee their homes, often leaving behind their belongings. 20 people have died in separate incidents of drowning and 5 more were killed in landslide in the past 10 days. Adding that the water levels were receding. Parts of the railway network were devastated, as authorities have also set up 366 relief camps across 20 districts, providing temporary shelter for more than 95,000 people. Roads, homes and buildings are being inundated by flood water in parts of the state. Now moving on, the death toll from a building collapse in the southern Iranian city of Abadan has reached 10, with some people still missing. The Iran news agency reported on Tuesday. The 10-story residential and commercial building partly collapsed on Monday, leaving at least 80 people under the rubble, and after hours of emergency efforts, 30 people trapped under the rubble were extracted alive and taken to hospitals to treat their injuries. A deputy governor of the Khuzestan has said the number of people still trapped under the rubble still remains unclear. Still on the foreign scene, U.S. President Joe Biden said on Tuesday that the crisis in Ukraine was a global issue which heightened the importance of maintaining international order, territorial integrity, and sovereignty. Biden's comment delivered at the opening of the Quad meeting of Indo-Pacific leaders in Tokyo come a day after he broke with convention and volunteered U.S. military support for Taiwan, the self-governed island claimed by China. Biden stressed Washington would stand with his allies and push for a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told global business leaders in Davos on Monday that the world must increase sanctions against Russia to deter other countries from using brute force to achieve their aims. The European Union will likely agree on an embargo on Russia oil imports within days, its bigger member Germany has said, as Moscow said its economic ties with China would grow amid its isolation by the West over Ukraine conflict. We now head to the sports scene. Manchester United new manager Utd Ten Hag faced questions on Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Maguire, and breaking the Man City-Liverpool dominance at the first news conference. Ten Hag greeted the media with handshakes and smiles at Old Trafford on Monday morning, less than 24 hours after he watched from the stands as his new side brought an end to the worst season in the Premier League era with a 1-0 defeat at Crystal Palace. Asked if Ronaldo fits into his project, Ten Hag said, of course. On what Ronaldo will bring, he simply added, goals. Pressed on whether he was looking for leadership from Ronaldo, and he said, I talk first with Ronaldo before I talk with you. And finally, the government is expected to approve the third Buhari-led consortium takeover of Chelsea within the next 24 hours. They have now received legal guarantees that Roman Abramovich will now benefit from the sale of Chelsea, meaning they can now approve the £4.2 billion deal. It is understood that the proceeds of the sale are going into a frozen bank account controlled by the government. Abramovich is also sanctioned by the European Union, and as he has a Portuguese passport, the sale has to be approved by the Portuguese authorities. It is expected that the deal will be signed off today, as the deal will bring an end to Abramovich's 19-year ownership of Chelsea, in which the club has won 21 trophies, including 5 Premier League titles and 2 Champions Leagues. And it's a wrap on news updates on AFRICUNIA television. You can catch up with the news and other programs from our various program bulletins by subscribing to our YouTube channel and also following all our various social media platforms on Jointim, Pangram, Instagram, and on Facebook in their respective order. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.